Born in Trier, Germany in 1818, Karl Marx was not just a philosopher but an economist and political theorist whose beliefs greatly influenced the direction of contemporary history. His deep criticism of capitalism and his dream of a society without classes sparked revolutions globally. Despite the theoretical nature of Marx's concepts, their practical implementation by authorities resulted in significant changes and, heartbreaking outcomes. Marx's revolutionary theories. In the book The Communist Manifesto, published in 1848 in collaboration with Friedrich Engels, Marx presented a view of history shaped by conflicts between classes. He contended that within a framework, the capitalist elite, often referred to as the bourgeoisie, exploited the laboring class, known as the proletariat. Marx envisioned a future in which the working class would rebel against the existing structure and establish a classless society in which all members collectively owned the resources. In his work Das Kapital, Marx delved into an analysis of capitalism. Many argued that capitalism was intrinsically exploitative and prone to instability. He proposed the labor theory of value, which states that items' value depends on their labor. Marx also pointed out society's propensity to experience production crises and declining profitability. He believed these inherent contradictions would ultimately contribute to the downfall of capitalism and pave the way for the emergence of communism. Karl Marx's inner circle, families, and collaborators. Marx's spouse was Jenny von Westphalen, who hailed from a lineage and had a significant impact on both his personal and intellectual pursuits. Although Jenny's aristocratic origins differed greatly from Marx's beliefs, she ardently embraced his ideas. Despite the family's hardships, she actively contributed to editing and criticizing his writings while also raising their children. Unfortunately, only 3 out of their 7 offspring lived to adulthood, which further added to the stress in their challenging lives. Throughout Marx's endeavors and explorations of ideas and concepts, Jenny's steadfast dedication and support played a role not only as his companion, but also as his intellectual equal. Marx's dearest comrade Friedrich Engels hailed from an industrialist household. However, his time in factories molded his critical stance on capitalism. Engels collaborated with Marx on the Communist Manifesto. Over the years, Engels supported him, enabling Marx to focus on producing Das Kapital and other significant works. Engels wasn't just a supporter but a thought partner, refining and advancing Marxist ideology alongside Marx. Following Marx's death, Engels assumed the role of organizing and releasing Marx's writings, while safeguarding and advocating for their intellectual heritage excellence. Engels' input played a role in Marx's triumph as well as the worldwide dissemination of Marxist concepts. Marxism's global export, from Europe to the world. Karl Marx lived in various countries throughout his life journey. He commenced in Germany, his birthplace and educational hub, where he initiated his political writing endeavors with revolutionary zeal that led to his expulsion, eventually prompting a move to France, renowned for its radical ideology hub, where he had to depart due to his political engagement activities. Later, he relocated to Belgium, where he collaborated with Engels on the Communist Manifest, and briefly returned to Germany during the turbulent revolutionary events of 1848. After facing oppression again in his homeland and being compelled to leave once more, he eventually found a new home in London, England, where he resided until the end of his days. Despite his unwavering dedication to activism, none of these nations fully embraced Marx's beliefs during his lifetime. Instead, Marx's principles spread worldwide. Marx initially criticized advanced capitalist societies, but his principles sparked revolutions in regions like Russia and China, where prevailing economic hardship and social disparity made them more susceptible to change. Aftermath. Marx's concepts have sparked uprisings globally. However, the practical application of communism has frequently been linked to atrocities, dictatorship tendencies, and economic struggles. Notable examples include, Marx's ideology influenced the formation of the Soviet Union following the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. During the Great Terror period, Joseph Stalin led the Soviet Union, causing millions of deaths through forced collectivization and purges. The planned economy also faced inefficiencies, which eventually led to the downfall of the Soviet Union in 1991. Between 1975 and 1979, the Khmer Rouge regime under Pol Pot's leadership came to Cambodia with a vision to establish a version of communism there. By enforcing measures like mandatory agricultural work and eliminating currency and private ownership, their rule resulted in the tragic loss of around 1.7 to 2.2 million lives, marking a dark period known as the Cambodian Genocide. During Mao Zedong's leadership, China's history underwent changes with Marxist-inspired reforms like the Great Leap Forward from 1958 to 1962 that aimed to speed up industrialization efforts, resulting in famine and millions of deaths because of these policies. China later shifted towards market-driven reforms during Deng Xiaoping's era, while the Communist Party continued to hold on to its authority. Lack of understanding can lead to situations. Marx's theory has a limitation in that it focuses on political systems while neglecting the complexities of human cognition and innate biological drives that shape behavior in the natural world, where beings are often categorized as predators or prey, engaged in a primal battle for existence beyond mere material circumstances. Marx did not delve into this psychological aspect. He did not consider the self-preserving instincts in human nature that can result in conflict and exploitation, regardless of the economic system in place. This suggests that these ingrained psychological forces, if not acknowledged and addressed appropriately, would influence any political system, including Marxism. Marx predicted that capitalism would collapse under its own contradictions. However, capitalism proved more resilient than he anticipated. Through technological innovation, social reforms, and the capacity to adapt, capitalist economies were able to generate unprecedented wealth and lift millions out of poverty. Marx underestimated capitalism's ability to evolve and its potential to improve living standards through incentive-driven economies. Marxist theory overlooks the role of personal incentive and motivation in human productivity. In capitalist economies, competition and the pursuit of profit often drive innovation and improvement. By removing individual ownership and profit motives, communist systems struggled to motivate workers, leading to inefficiencies and lower productivity. The absence of personal incentives stifled innovation and economic progress in many communist states. Result: the implementation of Marxist regimes often led to severe consequences, including 1. War and mass deaths. Communist revolutions often led to brutal civil wars, political purges, and mass repression. The Soviet Union, China, and Cambodia experienced millions of deaths because of policies inspired by Marxist ideas. 2. Economic poverty. Many countries that implemented strict Marxist policies suffered from severe economic decline. Centralized planning often led to inefficiency, shortages, and poverty. For example, the Soviet Union and Eastern European communist states struggled with chronic shortages, and post-revolutionary China faced years of stagnation before market reforms were introduced. Solution: revolution or evolution. The fundamental question remains whether meaningful change can be achieved through revolution, as Marx advocated, or through evolution. Gradual reform within existing systems. Revolution. Marx believed that only a revolution could overthrow the capitalist system and lead to a truly classless society. However, the violent revolutions inspired by his ideas often led to authoritarianism and widespread suffering. Revolutionary communism has largely failed to achieve the ideals Marx envisioned, leading instead to repression and economic collapse. Evolution. Many argue that evolutionary change, reforming capitalist systems to address inequality, may be a more sustainable path. By improving access to education, healthcare, and social safety nets, capitalist societies can reduce inequality while maintaining incentives for innovation and productivity. Evolution allows societies to balance the strengths of capitalism with the need for greater social equity without resorting to authoritarianism or violence. Conclusion. Karl Marx's contributions to political and economic thought remain profound, but the aftermath of his ideas has been deeply troubled. His vision of a classless society has never been realized in practice without severe human and economic costs. While his critique of capitalism remains relevant, the challenge lies in addressing the nature of human competition and instinct, and finding a balance between economic efficiency and social justice. The fall of communism, most notably with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, highlighted the failures of centrally planned economies and authoritarian political systems. However, in countries like China, which embraced market-oriented reforms while retaining political control, the integration of capitalist principles led to a significant economic rise, lifting millions out of poverty and demonstrating the adaptability of capitalism. The future of economic and political theory may depend on a combination of evolutionary reform rather than violent revolution, acknowledging both the strengths and weaknesses of capitalism while addressing its inequalities through sustainable and democratic means. If you enjoyed this content and want to support evolutionary reform in the country, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. And to make sure you never miss an update, be sure to turn on notifications. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video for more insights and future content.